Hi, I'm Charles of the Book Sage, and this is my October 2017 book haul. Now, I had no idea when I was going to end up doing a book haul. I didn't think it was going to be for a while. I didn't really think I bought many books this month, like one or two, just a couple. Turns out I've purchased 8, so I figured, might as well do a book haul about them. I like watching book hauls, and this is my first attempt at doing one of my own. Now, 5 of these 8 are ebooks, so I'm going to run through the ebooks first, and then I'll get to the books I purchased physically in the store. And the first book I bought this month was Samuel R. Delany's Autobiography, The Motion of Light in Water, Sex and Science Fiction Writing in the East Village. I purchased this as one of the challenges of Sylvia Kay's Cozy-a-thon in October, and with the intent of reading it here in November for the Nonfiction November readathon. And I'm filming this on November 4th, so I actually started reading this right at the beginning of November, on November 1st, and already thoroughly enjoying it. Samuel R. Delany is a brilliant, brilliant science fiction writer. If you go and just watch every video that I have on my BookTube channel so far, so there's a good chance that Samuel R. Delany is mentioned in at least half of them, if not 75% of them. He's just an absolutely brilliant writer, and this is his autobiography. This was his time living in the East Village as a young, gay, black science fiction writer in an open marriage to a white woman in the early 60s in the East Village. And his time there and just his life experiences and honing his craft as a science fiction writer. And really, really good. I love the opening of the book. He talks about his father's death and when it happened, and then tells you about how when people were reading when he first wrote about it, they were telling him that he had his dates wrong. And he wrote about that experience of going back and looking at things and realizing that they were correct, and his own memory of how he remembered what was happening at that time was off by a year or two. So he even writes about that during the introduction part of the book, just to tell you about how it's kind of highlighting how memory works for people, of how we take things, even like powerful things, and our mind can kind of shift them out, like away from where they really were or when they really took place. And I thought that was an interesting thing. He felt it was important to write that and put that in, particularly at the beginning of the book, because if he only told you his father died in 1960 or whatever it was in reality, and didn't tell you that he thought he had died in 58, like, it wouldn't be a full recounting of the event, because the 58, if he only told the 58 one, it wouldn't be true, even though that's how he remembered it. And if he only told the factual one of 1960 without recounting that in his mind it was 58, that wouldn't be a full truth either. So I like the fact that he took the time to explain how he remembered it, and then him discovering that what the date really was, and then his thoughts about why his mind would do that. And that's how it starts. And then he goes in from there and moves you through his early adulthood. And I'm not that far into it yet, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And he's just, again, a brilliant, brilliant author. If you like science fiction at all, and you haven't read Samuel Delany, go get any of his books and read them. He's thoroughly enjoyable. And so next up, I purchased a fantasy trilogy, and this is a beloved fantasy trilogy. I've never read it, but so many people absolutely adore this series, and that is Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy. Amazon was having a special sale, I think right around the time the Book of Dust was being released, and they had all 3 of these separate ebooks for a total of like $5.97. So I snatched that right up, and I'm actually going to start reading The Golden Compass here in November. It's one of my November reads. And I'm really looking forward to this series. I'm taking all of my expectations and putting them aside. I suppose if I were to do a 5-star predictions video, this trilogy would be one of them, one of the books or one of the stories on there. But I'm putting all those expectations aside because I'm just going to go into it. I did watch the movie when it came out of His Golden Compass. I enjoyed it. I have no idea how accurate it is to the books. I haven't rewatched it since because I've wanted to read the books before rewatching the movie. So I look forward to going back and watching this movie probably around Christmas time. I know I'll be finished with the first book, but I hope to have the whole trilogy finished before the end of the year. So super, super excited about these the ebooks here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that Golden Compass and seeing if it meets all that hype and if it really, really is that good. And just I'm hoping for a good story. Next up was another ebook that it caught it on sale one day. Amazon had a brief sale for it for probably $1.99 or something. And that is the first book in Shauna Maguire's Wayward Children series, Every Heart a Doorway. And this is another series I'm really, really excited for. Again, this is another one everyone raves about. So I was happy when I caught that sale and just snatched that book up as well. And I think it's a short book, so it's not on my TBR for this month, but you never know. I separately from all the books I TBR and talk about here on BookTube and on Twitter, I do have other books that I read that they're my reading in bed before sleep books. And I don't know why I don't include them in my TBRs and wrap-up videos, because I probably should. So this may end up being a book I read at night, because it's shorter and I could work my way through it as like an end-of-the-night read. But we'll see. I'm in very much a mood reader along with planning out, so I bounce between the two. So that is it for ebooks. And now we move on to the physical books. And out of all the books that I've bought in the month of October, these two are the two I'm probably most excited to read. And I'm probably not going to get to them until December. And that is V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic, and book 2, A Gathering of Shadows. Now, I just don't know much about them. All I know is there's parallel Londons. There's 4 of them, and somebody can travel between them. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. But that concept alone was enough for I have to buy them. That was a no-brainer for me. And then I'm just really, really, really intrigued by these and can't wait to dive into them. And this is another one that everyone that I see who's read it already absolutely raves about these stories. And I think the third one is out in hardcover. If these are as good as I think they are, I'm probably going to end up buying the third one in ebook and then getting the trade paperback once that's published, I think in February or March. But super, super, super stoked for these. And just beautiful, beautiful trade paperbacks as well. And I love the chapter pages. I have beautiful illustrations, I guess maps of the Londons on it by the looks of it. And yeah, I don't need to open that up because I'll just start reading it and throw my entire November TBR out the window. And the last book I bought I bought on Halloween. I had no intention of buying a book. I stopped into Barnes & Noble on my way home from work just to kill a little time. And I was wandering around, and on my way out of the store, I stopped back at this one section they have near the front where they have a lot of books on sale. And it's a wide variety of things there. There's all sorts of stuff. And I glanced down at the bottom, the low shelf, and this book was there on sale for less than $6. And another one I've never read that I've really wanted to read for a long time. And that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Now, I have seen the BBC America adaptation of it. Thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, I have no idea how true to the story that was, how accurate it was to the book. But this is another one. I have some friends of mine who've read this, and they just absolutely rave about this book as well. And I couldn't pass that up. I mean, a big trade paperback doorstopper like this for under $6. You know, you see that kind of a deal, you just have to grab it. And I'm probably not going to get to this until 2018, but I have a feeling this is going to be one of those novels that I'm going to end up just putting everything aside for this while I'm reading it. This is going to be one of those books that's just going to end up bumping my entire TBR until I'm finished with it. I have that feeling about it, but we'll see. We'll see. But super, super excited for this as well. But again, not until 2018. So, and that's pretty much my first ever book haul. Again, it just when I realized I did 8 books, I figured, why not? Give it a shot. Hopefully, now I do want to hear from you guys in the comments if you've read any of these. No spoilers, please, but I'd like to know what you thought of them, if you liked them, didn't like them. If you have any recommendations that are similar to any of these books that I've mentioned here, please drop them in the comments so I can go check them out. And that's pretty much a wrap. I'm going to wrap this up here. I am Charles of Sir Booksage, and happy reading.